You should only mess with
Oh,
men who you want to sleep with on the first night.
Yeah,
So
as much as what that I understand where you're coming from, KB, it does make me a little bit nervous because I think it's just fair to realize you two people can be looking in the same direction and the sky could be blue to you, but it could be periwinkle to me. Like there are still going to be differences, there's still going to be work that needs to be done. And I think if we get too comfortable um throwing people away because it starts to require some effort is going to be more of a detriment than kind of realizing we're going to have differences and we're two different people. Now, it doesn't mean to be chaos, but even if we're looking in the same direction, there's still going to be work to be done. And that's why I bring in the grace thing, because we can't think that we're so aligned that will never be out of alignment, because that's not even true for a car. You have to get your tires
ooh.
rotated because after going so far in one direction, something gets a little off. So I think it's okay to check in, to give people grace, to attack problems as they arise and just be cool with that. And one last thing I can say about that is when you are in alignment and you do have proper communication. I was looking at something someone said, and I'm not going to nail it verbatim, but I think it was Brene Brown. She talked about the kinds of things her and her husband could do when they know they're not at 100%. It's like, I'm at 20 today. So what is the fail safe when your partner is at 20 and don't got 100 to give you today? How can I show up to either be 80, be 100, or if I only got 10, then we both need to be able to communicate and realize that we're not at 100 right now. So what kinds of fail safes can we put in action together to make sure that we can still function, stay harmonious, and nobody goes away feeling bruised and resentful about whatever couldn't or didn't get done in the day?
if you see the sky as periwinkle, I see it as blue, but I need to be with someone who sees the sky as blue, then I shouldn't be trying to work with you to try to see the sky as blue or to try to see the sky as periwinkle. I should go find someone who sees the sky as blue. Like at the end of the day, like I said, it all depends on what matters to me. Like a lot of these times we talk about things that don't matter to the other person, right? It's like, oh, well, I want to eat burritos tonight and you want to eat tacos. So who's going to get it? And it's like, hey, if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. But if I'm on a diet where all I can eat is tacos, then I need to be with somebody who only eats tacos. You see what I mean? Like you really before you get into a relationship, you have to know yourself and you have to know what it is that actually matters to you. And then you have to go on day one and talk to the other person and say, hey, these are the things that actually matter to me. How do you feel about these things? Like, can you vote for Trump? Can you vote for Biden? Like, are these things, because these things matter to me? So I need to know. And then if those things aren't something that you are aligned with the other person, then you guys shouldn't be in a relationship. You should go find somebody else. But at the end of the day, if you are who you are in the beginning of the relationship and you tell that person, hey, here's who I am, and these are the things that matter, you'll be fine throughout the relationship because you don't have to keep changing. There is no, I got to change here, I got to change there, I got to put up with this, I got to put up with that. Like the whole reason for
I
dating is so that you get to know the person and make sure that you guys are actually aligned on the things that matter.
I'm not even the same person I was last week, let
girl,
alone not changing. It is impossible.
don't
I might
even
be on a taco diet for 2 years and I could wake up and be like, I don't like tacos no more. So now you
yeah,
done with me?
Nathan.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
If
you
if the
got with
person
me because you like the tacos, because I like the tacos, but now because something about me changed, that's not okay with you. And actually, KB, I think that sometimes that perspective can kind of marginalize the experiences that you get out of life, because it's like if you're not receptive to other people's ways and styles of communication because you're so dead set on what it is that you're looking for, it's just like, what's wrong with different? What's wrong with trying something different? Because I've met so many people in successful relationships that have said they've showed me something that I never thought I would like, and it turned out to be the most favorite thing that I've ever experienced. And it's just like, if you've always been in that mindset of, I don't like that and I'm never ever going to try that because I don't like that, you're robbing yourself out of life.
Well, I think that's not what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, if somebody shows me something new and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. That's great." Then we're cool because at the end of the day, I wasn't against it. I just hadn't tried it. So if you show me something new and I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's what's up. Let's do it." Then that's me still being in alignment with you. The things that we try to do is if I tell you, hey, I dislike this, and you go, well, no, you should try it. And I go, see, why are you trying to change me? That's what we do in relationships. The other person literally tells you they don't like it, and you still ignore those red flags, and you say, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna eventually we're gonna come to an agreement, or I'll put up with it for now, and then down the line, you guys end up being frustrated in the relationship because you tried to change something that this person told you they don't like. Like at the end of the day, you only rob yourself of time when you deal with people who are not in alignment with you. Then you rob yourself of time. You never get that back. You become bitter because you never get that back, and then you keep going through negative and negative experiences that now it builds your wall even higher and higher because you continue to go through negative experiences with people that you didn't like or they didn't like you. Like
Yeah.
we have to get in alignment from day one with people, and really talk about the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now tacos don't matter. Like everybody at their core, if you're over 25 years old, you know what actually matters to you and what doesn't. The things that don't really matter are going to change. Those things are going to change all the time. But your core values, those are things that stick with you through a lifetime. And I would say maybe 1% of people change their core values. Maybe 1%. But most of us, the things that we value to our core, they don't change. Me, I don't like people who snore. If you snore, I can't deal with you. And nothing you say is gonna make that change. Like nothing. You could be the prettiest, cutest, biggest booty, all of that. Guess what? I can't rock with you if you snore. I can't get no sleep. I'm gonna be miserable. Bottom
Well, of
line.
course not. Because all
Literally.
you wanted was the physical. I just think it comes down to, what are you, I think what kind of gets confusing is the process up to finding out that that's your core belief. Because sometimes people don't come right out and be like, hey, these are my top 10s absolutely do not do's. You don't find that out on the first date. So I think it's the process up to that where people get lost in the fog. And instead of taking what it is that they need from that situation, or what they're supposed to be learning or applying to something different in their life while in that situation, can really change how they see everything. But I think it's just up to that personal person and be like, okay, I see this. I see how that led to that next step that I figured out that's a hard no for me. This is how I'm going to take it on to my next relationship. And sometimes people don't necessarily see that. And I think that what he's saying can be true. And I like the way he put it, because it's like, okay, I see what you're saying and I get your intention. So I think him being a man and learning how to communicate to a woman is something that we could, you know, learn how to do together, because that's how we grow. Sometimes we don't see it, we have to be shown it. So, yeah, or me personally.
All
I
right.
think sometimes the fear of walking away is what constitutes a person to stay in a relationship that's not meant for them. Because quite frankly, we all have a good batch of options. There's a million and one quadrillion fish in the sea. Whether you want to say, oh, there's no good people or not. No, there's literally on average you have about 1,000 or more soulmates to your name in this life. It's just you might not explore them all, and the realistic thing is, when you get into a relationship, it's like you have to be able to know like what you want, what you're willing to stay for, and what your non-negotiables are, kind of like how what Smooth was just saying, and also what Miss Jamie was saying. I think we all said something like this, and I really wholeheartedly believe that, we can conjoin fronts to want the same thing, but like KB was saying, Sorry, it's lagging. You guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's a bit frozen for me. Yeah, but as KB was saying, you don't want to waste time like with somebody who's not on you're not on the same page with, so you got to be okay with walking away when they're not on the same page as you and when you're not on the same page as them. And that doesn't mean like you have to cut them off or be mean to them. It's just like you realize, hey, maybe we dated for some time and we're not really on the same page, and that's okay. You want this, I want this, and we want some of the same things, and we want some of the different things, but the difference outweigh the similars. The differences outweigh the similarities. So if that's the case, go where the similarities outweigh the differences. That's where you can get an equation that might work, for the long term. Walk away from
Yeah.
what's not for you.
That's the thing. People get
That's
scared of
good.
being alone. And it's like that's how you really learn what it is that you're willing to fight for and willing to stand for, more than fight for, but it's what you're standing for. Because at the end of the day, we're here and we're protecting ourselves. That's our vessel. So if we
Yes.
feed off each other, then it's easier for everybody. But also in
Hmm.
that is being open to other people in other ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I tell my sisters, get rid of men as fast as you can. It's a numbers game because the longer you're with a man who's not for you, the more damage he's going to do to you. And so
Ooh.
you cannot be afraid to walk away. You got to, it's a numbers game. As soon as you figure out you are not aligned with that man, get him out the way. Get him out
Yeah.
the way. And men out there, same thing. As soon as you realize this woman is not for you, or there are red flags that are not leading in the same direction you want your life to go, gotta go. Gotta go.
Okay.
And that's okay. You're right. We do have a problem with walking away. And this is why I feel like we need to rewrite some of the rule books when it comes to dating and relationship. Like maybe values and standards should be something we're talking about a little bit more upfront if we're both marriage minded people. Maybe we should be
Yes.
spending time in different ways. Maybe before we sleep with each other, can we really actually just to get to know a little bit more? Like, is that okay for us to know a bit more before the sex happens? Because it could be different for men and women, but that attachment is going to these are some of the things that make it hard to walk away. We let chemistry take over and we put compatibility on the back seat. And now, here we are in half of this mess.
See, I see it the opposite. I see it the opposite way. You should only mess with
Oh,
men who you want to sleep with on the first night. That's going to tell you if that man can lead you. That's going to tell you if that man is worth your time. If he doesn't impress you right out the gates, if he's not hitting this bar up here right out the rip, then all you're doing moving forward is convincing yourself you should be with him. That's it. Every woman I know who's happy, who's been in a long, happy marriage, has told me, I knew he was the dude the day I met him. I knew he was the guy. But we don't be doing that nowadays. We settle for dudes. We settle for what's available. And
There's a lot of
I think,
settling.
yeah, and
Yeah, I
I
had a
think
question.
women,
You said
go ahead,
that
sis.
if we're not sexually attracted to them right out the gate, then he's not the one. Then he's not able to lead.
Yeah, yeah. If and
yep.
when I say right out the gate, I don't mean like, oh, I just met this dude. Hey, I want to have sex with you. Like, no. What I mean is by the first date, he should be wowing you so like so much that you want to sleep with him. Like,
Do
and I
men put
and
in that much effort though?
well, and
Yes.
men don't.
Yes, they
Some.
do.
Well,
They do. Okay.
The right man does.
Yeah,
Some.
but I think at the end of the day, hold on, I disagree with that because the right man doesn't have to make the effort. The right man's resume, how he moves, how he talks, who he knows, all of that will tell you, oh, this is the guy. Like men who put in effort,
Mm-mm.
they're fooling you. Men who put in effort to do this and do that, they're trying to get in your panties. The men who say, hey, here's who I am, I've accomplished this in life, and this is how I move. those are the men who you're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is the dude. This is the dude.
I
I
would beg to
align with him.
disagree.
I align with him. I trust him. I think that this man not only is mentally strong, but actually physically, like I am attracted to him as well. Like
And is
those
that
are the
so we
men.
he his monetary possessions?
No, what I'm telling you is I'm telling you the men who align with what you want in a man. That's what I'm
Hmm.
telling you. And they don't have to try. This is just who they are.
It can't just be what you want, it gotta be what you need.
That
Well,
too, very much
well,
so.
which
Because
takes
some
time to
don't
discover.
I don't.
Exactly.
always want
It
what we
takes
need.
time.
But your gut will tell you if it's worth the time investment in the first 90 days, guaranteed.
You.
In the first
Hold up.
90 seconds, most of the
In
time.
the first nine, but I'm saying 90 seconds
I
to
would say
90 days
within the
is
first sentence at most. First sentence at
yeah.
most.
It
The
can't go over
first
three
90
months.
seconds,
Yeah.
you gonna get it. You gonna get
Yeah.
it.
You're like,
You go
it
get
was
it.
nice to meet you, even though
Mm,
I just sat down.
So let me ask you.
mm.
Let me ask you, ladies, a question. Let me ask you, ladies, a question. Let me ask you, ladies, a question. If a if Barack Obama wasn't married, but he'd been the president and all of that, right? And he was like, hey, you know, let's run this. I like you. I'm feeling you. I'm trying to, I'm trying to do something with you. But he wasn't married, no Michelle. He was just a young, single Barack Obama. He was the president of the United States. You know everything about him because his resume speaks large about who this man is. You you gonna take a couple months with Barack Obama?
No, because you don't know everything about
No.
him. What
Mm-mm.
we show to the
That's a
public is
risk.
a percent different than what we do when we close that door. You don't know
Okay.
everything about that
Nothing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
person. Nothing.
No.
I
I
Okay.
need
had a
to
guy
be
tell me
close to
all my
you. Yeah, I need to be in
yeah.
proximity just because a lot of this stuff is a front, number one. Number two, the resume doesn't really speak to how you're going to treat me. How you're going to treat me out when my period about to start. How you going to treat me when I'm not saying, doing, and acting what you want. Like, there's just so many more things and colors.
Exactly.
Because another misconception I feel like we have to get away from is like, oh, watch the way he treats his mama. If he treats his mama good, he going to treat you good. Not necessarily. So some of this stuff, what I teach the women, especially in my life coaching, is it is an inside job because I can't think of one dude that I met and didn't know like this via intuition that it just wasn't going to work. But we as women, we be messing up the game because we're the ones that are trying to convince ourselves and kind of stay and let me just see. But we know. So as women, that's what we can do. Is like we need to act like we know. Said Sarai, gone and walk away. You said the same thing, KB. Once we know it ain't going, walk away. It's going to be better for everybody. Even if this person circles back sometime down the line and it seems to make sense, our intuition, we know quickly, very quickly. And it has nothing to do
Very
with
quickly.
resume, money, but. We got to
Right.
stop playing ourselves, honestly.
But I think I'm saying the same thing. When you meet the right guy, when you meet that dude, you know instantly. Just like how you know dudes are bums, you know that dude is that dude as well. Instantly. Instantly. And this is what I'm saying. The problem is you don't meet enough dudes who you know is that dude because you spend all your time with these bums, entertaining these bums, talking about, hey, we need to figure this out. We need to figure out this and we need to
Let
figure out that. No, get them out the way so that when the
me tell you
dudes who are
something.
actually them dudes come, you know instantly. And those are the dudes I'm telling you that you don't need to wait 6 months to have sex. You need to have that gut feeling of, oh, I am hot, bothered, and ready for this dude. This is the guy. Those are the guys women
KB,
need to be going after. Go ahead.
It's like, huh, KB.
it's so easy to say no to a bum sometimes. But can you walk away from a good guy who's not for you? Because that is the ultimate challenge. And you sometimes don't even know whether you should leave or not because you're like, dang, hold up. This person got some good qualities. We actually vibing, but there's something there. where it's not fully clicking, then
Hmm.
you have to really go deep within and, hey, do I stay with this person and invest just because they check off more boxes than the last one? Or do I keep allowing myself to search for what checks off all the boxes for me? You know what I'm saying? Because you can say no to a bum. It's easy to say no to someone who checks off barely any of the boxes off the list. But what if you're met with an option that is like, it seems like it's the right person? No, because sometimes counterfeits get sent your way where it may seem like they got everything that you want and they could still be the wrong person.
They could be
So
the wrong
how do
person.
we navigate situations like that?
Well, it's just like I just said. It's like I said. You knew he's a bum. You just said he got everything. He got all the glitz and glamour, but there's something in me that tells me something ain't right. Yeah, because he's a bum. But
That
I'm
That's
doesn't
not
really
say
talking.
he's a
simple.
bum.
Right, right. But I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys who you feel in your stomach. This guy is it. He's the one. He not only does he check off all my boxes, but I feel desire and admiration for this man, and when I'm in his presence, that's how you know. Okay, this is the man I should be investing time in. If a man doesn't make you feel like that, you shouldn't be investing time in him. If a man doesn't make you feel like
Mm,
I can trust him, I want to follow him. I can learn from him. I want to be with him because I'm sexually so attracted to him. You should not deal with him. He's not for you. But this is why I say you got to be aligned with people, and you have to have that burning desire, and you have to have that admiration for the man, because those are the types of men you want to actually pursue, and those are the types of men who are going to get you hot day one.
I just want to say something to close off my statement. I have been with narcissistic men who gave the same burning desire feeling because they were love bombing. And it seemed like they were the perfect match because they were coming with all the heat, taking you on expensive dates, talking all that good talk to you. And guess what? In the back, like Miss Jamie was saying, there was some spiritual development that you couldn't tell that needed to happen on that person because they were showing you everything that you wanted to see and making you feel all those endorphins and hormones that make you bond with them and feel infatuated with them. But that wears off in about what, 90 days time, the infatuation phase. Then what happens? Can you really click with that person to last 20 plus years? That's what we're really trying to see. So how long does that take? Because you can get involved with someone and then get involved with them sexually. That doesn't determine if you'll be able to have longevity with them. That's what I'm
Okay,
trying to get to the root of.
go ahead, Jamie, and then
I,
I'll answer
I
your
think
question.
I think what you're saying, KB, I definitely get it, and I like to hear it from a man's perspective because you're right. There needs to be some kind of a totality feeling along with the feeling of sexual desire. I think for women, a lot of the reasons why things are going a certain way, and it could be the same for men, but there can be a lot of manipulation involved, and that's why more than anything we have to be solid within ourselves and able to walk away. So that's the best advice you could give your sisters. But it also makes it hard to walk away once we've had sex. So it's not about waiting 6 months. It's not about if you getting all this stuff and you want to do it day one. I don't, I do you. But we have to be careful about intertwining and going too far down the road with the wrong person. And I just think majority of us know within the first couple of minutes, and we just need to honor it. And if we can do that, we'll be just fine, because the problem is a lot of the times it's like the thing we're supposed to do and then actually doing it, and we think all this time in the middle is going to give us some revelation of truth that feels more real. But you're right, at that point we're just wasting time. And so the only thing I feel like women can do is get to know yourself and follow your intuition and walk away without the
Hmm.
reasoning. Your
Yeah.
intuition is going to tell you. The reasoning is the narcissistic man, the rich man, the Obama. I don't care who he is. It could look whatever
The
it
bum.
looks like. The bomb. But if your spirit is telling you to walk away, then that's just what you got to do without any rhyme or reason. How can we get to the point where we'll do it without rhyme or reason? Because we are wasting our time.
Right, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying women should date men without rhyme or reason. I'm actually saying the opposite, and even even to talk about having sex with a man on the first night, I never said have sex with a man on the first night. I say you should want to. Those are the types of
Yeah.
men that you should be with, right? On the first night, you're like, I want to bone him. Now, whether you guys do it or not, that's between you and him. But you should only date men who make you feel like that. And the reason he makes you feel like that is not just because of how he looks, or not just because of how of how he acts, but are you guys actually aligned? And the way you figure out if you're aligned with a man is on the first date, you don't talk about colors. You don't talk about what's your zodiac sign. You don't talk about what's your auntie's favorite Christmas dish. No, you talk about, bro, what is your bank account? Are you talk about finance. You talk about politics. You talk about marriage. You talk about all the shit that really matters. Day one.
That's true.
And if you talk about all those things and he don't reciprocate, then you already know right from the rip. Oh,
It's a
he's
wrap.
playing. He's playing. He's playing. If he say, hey, that's it's a little soon to be talking about this. You say, you know what, homeboy? Thank you. Have a good one. All right. I promise you,
Yeah.
if you tell a man that and he doesn't answer these questions, but after he answers those questions, here's the question you need to ask this man. All right. Now that I know what your politics are, your religion are, I know what your sexual appetite is, I know how you treat your kids or whatever, if you want to have kids or not, and we're aligned, then I need to know, what is your plan for me? Okay?
Mm,
Because if a man is serious, if he comes to the table with a plan for you, not with a plan for women, no, 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 no. With a plan for you, because he's had conversations with you, he's got to know you through these conversations. He's seen you maybe over coffee before you guys actually went out on a date, and he learned you, and he said, you know what? Based on what this woman is showing me, here's my plan for her. These are the things of how you can figure out, okay, is this man that dude or is he not? And this is why I say these are the type of men who, if you go through all this stuff with him and he passes all this stuff, he'll be that dude you want to sleep with. He'll be that dude that you admire, respect his mind, and also physically desire. And
that's true.
all of that stuff should happen. These conversations, they should happen before you guys even go out on a first date. You guys should be talking on the phone, having text messages, and then maybe have coffee or walk in the park.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to dinner. You don't need to spend all that time. You just need to know, let me talk to
True.
this man without all the glitz and glamour and all the love bombing and all this bullshit that's going to distract me. Let me have an objective conversation with this man through text messaging, through phone calls, and maybe a walk in the park or coffee. Because none of that's going to distract me. Only thing I'm going to be listening for on those things is actually what this man is saying, and if it makes sense. Do I believe him?
Come on now.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is why I say I have a rule called the first date rule. By the first date, the woman should be all in, and if she's not, you're not for her, and she's not for you.
That's facts.
But it
So,
takes all those steps. Go ahead,
so
Jamie.
KB,
Tell me
let me
what you
ask
got.
you, as the only man on this panel, is that how you showing up? Is that
Oh,
how
that's
you're
how I get
approaching
in.
women?
That's how I get in.
So, so with that being said, what are your indicators? So let's say you
Now,
see a woman you think you're interested in and you just go right into the boom pow wow, or what? How does that work?
right. So let me preface this by saying that's not how I show up for all women. Okay? Because because there are women who have different seasons in my life, right? Like some women, it's just, hey, let's have a good time. Let's hang out, let's have fun. But then there's other women who I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to have something serious. I'm in a space, I'm in a season where I want something serious. And when I want something serious, that's how I show up. If I don't want anything serious, I'm not going to show up that way. But the one thing I always will do is tell you who I am in the beginning. I'll tell you if I'm showing up that way or not. I'll tell you, hey, I ain't really looking for that right now. Now, you can either mess with me or not, but that's not what I want. But if it is what I want, that's how I'm showing up. And I'm telling you right from the rip. Let's talk about all the stuff that actually matters from day one. Do you snore? I need to know.
What is it with you and snoring? What
That's
is
really
what?
No, I understand him. You guys don't. If it's not
I'm not
something you
doing
can handle,
snoring
don't
either,
do
so
it.
I'm not
I'm just
that.
saying. I'm just saying. People who snore, they're not bad people. There's a lot of great people that snore. I have some really close
Yeah,
relatives that snore. Okay, so I don't want to. I'm not
yeah.
shaming the people who snore. All right, I love people who snore. I just can't marry you. I can't be in a relationship with you for a long time. That's
Oh
it. That's all
yeah.
I'm
Fair.
Oh
saying.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. All right. I'm sorry, Jamie. Ask me that question one more time because I think I went off on a tangent and didn't get the whole answer out. But
I feel like you
Give me
did.
that
I just
question.
wanted to see if you were showing up in the way that you're expressing, and you put a little mixed bag in there, because this is why the women conversation and men conversations are different. And women, we're saying intuition, because even though I think men might be willing to do what you're doing, or I'm gonna let you know up front, da da da. There is so much front and manipulation going on. Because I'm gonna tell you, for the most part, most guys come to me talking about marriage. I'm this, I'm that. I really gotta look at this for, like, you trying to what, so it's like people are not always honest. Not only that, men are not always as clear as you are. So that's why I wanted to see if you were showing up like that, how that works for you, when you deduce who you want to long term with, and who you don't, and if you're actually showing up in that step by step
Well,
with the
so
women that you
so
choose to date.
so so for me, and I'll tell you, for me and most men that I know, it's not about the woman. It's about where we're at in our lives. So a
Yep.
man will, depending on where he's at in his life, he'll come at you and either he'll do one of two things. Either he'll tell you the truth and tell you he ain't really looking for a relationship, or he'll bullshit you, try to scheme you out of some sex, and then dump you after he got what he wanted. Right? Play all these bullshit games. Right? Men do that, right? Or you'll find a man who says, "Hey, I am at a certain point in my life where I need a wife," and then we go hunting for wives, and that's when a man will come up and show up straightforward, ready to not play no games, ready to answer all questions, and like I said, have a plan for you. If he don't have a plan for you, he's not really serious. All right. Sorry, let me bring that back. Let me bring that back. One of two things. He's not serious, or he don't know how to lead. Both of those are bad for you. Okay? So if a man don't show up with no plan, you need to go this way. It don't matter if he's ready or not. Actually, if he don't got a plan, he ain't ready. Bottom line. He just ain't ready. And I wouldn't take no chances on it. All right? Show up with a plan. Once he presents his plan to you, if you good with that, then you guys should date. But if not, you should be on to the next. You shouldn't waste any time. And you, as a woman, it really doesn't matter what the dude is doing. As a woman, you get to decide: do I want to choose this man or not? Right? And this is why I say you got to have that gut feeling, like, okay, this is the guy. He answered all my questions. He has a plan for me. I'm attracted to him not only mentally and I'm not only attracted to him mentally, but I'm also attracted to him physically, like heavy. All right. Then you have that gut feeling like this is the one. Then you should actually act on that, because you're not finding those dudes often. They come in probably once a year, maybe.
I was gonna say a
Okay.
lifetime, because everything that you're talking
Nah,
about, I feel like we would all be married if that was the
nah,
case. If it was
If
just
it was
nah,
once a year,
coming
nah.
through
No, the problem is
plans and rings and
right. Well, it would happen once a year if you got them niggas out the way. The problem is you got these fakers in the way, occupying your time, occupying your mind, and you're not making space for the dudes who actually want what you want. So you have to hurry up and get people who don't what you want out the way. And that's the key. If you got them out the way, then you would see the men who you actually want show up more often. But they don't, because you over here lollygagging with this dude way over here somewhere. You know?
so what I'm hearing is my standards aren't too high. I deserve that,
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you don't have to be a you don't. you don't have to be a jerk about it. You know, you can just tell a person, hey, you know, we just aren't aligned. I appreciate
Yeah,
you kind of going through this journey with me to get to know you, but unfortunately, we're just not aligned. I think you're a good person.
exactly.
You're just not good for me. You know, like at the end of the day, you're just not right for me. But you can be right, just not right for me. And at the end of the day, you know, if somebody asks, just say, bro, I just didn't feel it in my gut. I just I just didn't feel safe in my gut. Like, you know, you came at me, you gave me your best thing. I liked it, I enjoyed it, but it just didn't get me in the gut. Sorry, you know, and move to the next as fast as possible. Because if you end up spending time with this dude trying to convince yourself you like him, all the dudes who you could have been with, they passing you by, passing you by.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that I think it's also a big contributor of what you're bringing to the table. I had a conversation last night with a friend, and I was letting them know, like if you're getting with a new person and you're coming to the table and they're coming to the table, but they're coming to the table with their hand out, trying to get something, but you're bringing everything to the table, but they're coming to the table and just trying to get something. You know what I'm saying? You have to be ready for what you're asking for. You have to develop yourself before you can ask or demand the top notch. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us don't even know what we want until we pour into ourselves to then have a higher self esteem and realize that we deserve way more than what we're qualifying ourselves to have. We qualify ourselves to have what we settle for because we don't know ourselves enough to know that we deserve more. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So, kind of when we take that time in between relationships, maybe when you're not as serious with people, it's a good time to get to know your needs and your wants and your desires so that when a person comes along, you can clearly check off in your mind, I'm bringing this. And right then and there off the bat, if they're not bringing something of similar, or the same energy, you're gonna it's either gonna click or it's not. So I feel like you also have to, it's not just them. We can't point fingers at them, is what I'm saying. We also have to point that finger at ourselves and make sure we're matching energy as much as the good energy that we want and desire in our lives. You know.
see, I gotta,
That.
I gotta come back with that. I gotta come back at that. I'm sorry. Um, I have a little bit of a disagreement with that. I don't feel like you need to match the energy of anybody else. I just think you need to find somebody who complements your energy, right?
And that's
Like,
getting who that other person needs as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you should compliment them, you know. You guys both should be complementary to each other, right? I don't
Yeah.
need to raise my energy or change my energy or do any of that. I just need to find somebody who likes my energy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the
True.
same thing for everybody. Like, as long as you find somebody who is complementary to your energy, you don't have to like you don't have to
But what if
match
your
them with
energy is
anything.
whack?
Find somebody
Agree.
with
What
find
if your
somebody.
energy is whack?
Yeah.
So I think whack is subjective, right? So I could think your energy is whack, right? But but
True.
but
Touche.
but Jamie could be like, her energy is fire. What are you talking about? Right? And
Then
so
that
I'm
would
not
be her match. Their
that would,
energies match.
yes, exactly. They would be
That's a perfect
complementary,
example. That's a
right?
perfect
So
example.
I don't like when people say like, oh, you're whack or you're this or you're that. No, they're just not for you. You know, they're just not for you. But they
Yeah,
could
I
be
like
because
that.
perfect for somebody else.
I think what we have to do is realize, well, we don't have to do anything, but what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing in a lot of this is a lot of like the ego,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
self-importance and
Yep.
self-esteem. But the quicker we can realize, like, even that is highly manufactured, especially in this country, especially in the media, social media, all of these things, it would behoove us to be careful not to make decisions about anybody or ourselves from that space. It's just not big enough. It's too contrived. It's very boxy. It's very It should look like this. That's what I feel like everybody's caught up in now. If he's not making this, and if she don't have, and the way, and it's all ego, and it's have these massive spirits or energies about us, and it is all of it is about just matching that up with the person that makes sense and calling it a day and being cool with it and leaving the rest
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
all for women who say, "Oh, my man got to make $1 million." Hey, have at it. Have at it. Good luck with it. Because it's only about 10 of them out there. So if you can get
There's
them,
a
then
lot of
hey,
millionaires.
Look,
well,
we only
There's
well,
need
a lot of
one now.
millionaires out there.
One out
hey,
of
You
10.
only need one. You only
hey,
need one.
listen,
There's a lot out
listen,
there, but you only need one.
listen. If that's what you want, have at it. Like, knock yourself out. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I am not mad at it. But at the end of the day, like, me personally, I would be looking for a woman who wants the income that I make. I would be looking for a woman who wants the same things in life that I want. I would be looking for a woman who wants me to be her leader and protector. That's what I would want. Now, it's a bunch of women out there that are like, bro, I don't want to live that lifestyle. I don't like how that even sounds. And I'm like, hey,
That's true.
congratulations. You know, go find the man who wants exactly what you want. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right? I think we can definitely agree to, stand our stance on this one.